Just about the most likely characters at this current moment for Smash Bros. 6. Of course, I'm not no expert on, video games, so I'm not. Most of this list will likely be Nintendo characters, as Nintendo has released a lot of new games since Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we go in all of them, as well. So, I think the first one, I know this list they put Steve as a newcomer, even though Steve was put into Smash Bros. Ultimate as a DLC. So I don't know why they just didn't use his portrait from Smash Bros. Ultimate, but they don't use his portrait for any other games. I was thinking we'll get a lot of characters cut. Okay, I think they have the Kazuya from Smash Bros. Ultimate, so it was made after the DLC was created. But we'll be talking about the most likely newcomers. These are new characters, new to the game, not veterans. Okay, not veterans. These are new characters. Okay, newcomers. I think the number one most likely newcomer, I think, in my opinion, okay, is Ring Fit Trainer. So basically, if you do not know, one of the most successful games on the Switch is Ring Fit Adventure. Okay, of course, most people who play normal video games, who are not casual gamers, were like, what? What's a Ring Fit Adventure? But it's some game they released for the Switch. So basically, we create a set of like games like Wii Fit and Wii Sports. They also got Nintendo Switch Sports too. And I think Ring Fit Adventure or Ring Fit Trainer is, I think, the most likely, character to be added at this current moment, considering how popular Ring Fit become. And kind of like how I predicted Moana 2's successes and Wicked's success, I think this is probably the most likely thing to happen because of the success of Ring Fit Adventure. I think Nintendo's not gonna ignore the success of Ring Fit Adventure and gonna add Ring Fit Trainer to Smash 6. Okay. And yes, there are people who want to see like characters like Crash Bandicoot or more Mega Man characters, but I don't really think those are that likely compared to Ring Fit Adventure. Number 2, a character from Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. The new era of Zelda, okay, is the most successful era of Zelda. But what characters could be added from Breath of the Wild besides Zelda, Link, and Ganon? Okay, you have the 4 champions, obviously, that could be added. But the problem is, those are 4 characters, okay? Maybe add like the most popular champion, or add a character like Impa, obviously, which has been requested for a long, long time. But I think the most likely either one is probably Impa, because I think Impa is in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, okay, as well. So, Impa has been a very highly requested character for a long, long time. Of course, you also have the 4 champions, which could be added, but, they are 4 characters. Nintendo would have to add those 4 characters and add separate movesets for all 4 of the champions. So, I really don't think that's very likely. I think Impa is more likely than the 4 champions, but I think Zelda is overdue for a new character either way. So, I think Zelda is overdue for a new character. Number 3, a new Sonic character. Okay, I'm gonna have 3 characters I think are most likely to hear. Okay, but I think we're gonna get a new Sonic character. Okay, one is Shadow as an Echo. If they continue adding Echoes to Smash Bros, I think that Shadow the Hedgehog would be a perfect Echo fighter for Sonic. Okay, considering the fact that we have, characters like Peach and Daisy as Echoes, Pit and Doc Pit, and Smash Ultimate. You could have Inkling and Octarine, which we're going to talk about next. But I think Shadow is a pretty likely, considering the fact we had the whole year of Shadow thing too, very, very recently. And Shadow is probably, I think, the most requested and wanted character from the Sonic series as well. Also, we have Dr. Eggman, the main villain of Sonic. Okay, he's another character that I think could be added. And the last character I think could also be added would be Tails. Considering the fact that Tails is kind of like the Luigi of Sonic. Okay, but I think Shadow and Dr. Eggman are actually much more likely. But if they really want to go, hey, Tails is the Luigi of Sonic, so we'll add Tails. Which I think is a huge possibility that will happen. Okay, and the next most likely character, I think, is the Octarines from Splatoon. Again, another Echo character, another clone character. I know people really don't like those, but Splatoon only has one character, And ever since Smash Bros. Ultimate, Splatoon has exploded in popularity. Okay, and Splatoon doesn't really have Splatoon. I'm not really too familiar with characters. I know Octarine's the most frequently mentioned. Okay, but you can also add characters. But if you want to add like 2 or 3 more Splatoon characters, you can add in characters like Deep Cut, Mr. Grizz, DJ Octavio from the first game, and many more characters you can add in Splatoon. But I think those are the most likely, as Mr. Grizz is a villain, DJ Octavio is a villain, and Deep Cut is it'll be a pretty funny character to add. And also you can even add the cat from Splatoon, Zud, which will also be pretty funny because it's a judge. Or you can of course add the, Squid sisters into the game. I know they have different ones per each game. Maybe let's keep those as assist trophies for now, considering they have new Squid sisters every game. I think adding Mr. Grizz as like a villain for Splatoon or DJ Octavio would make a lot of sense as they are villains. And Mr. Grizz, we were like, oh, but he'll be too big for Smash Bros. Why do you can of course downsize him to be, a playable character in the game, obviously, kind of like they did with Ridley, as well, and also he have his Final Smash where he can become big and have a very similar Final Fantasy like Bowser, or, where he can become Giga Bowser, and that would be a pretty fun Final Smash. If I think Splatoon is kind of like Zelda and Sonic are due for new characters, okay, you can put Splatoon ahead of Sonic for all you want, okay. The next characters are going to be much more tricky, as next we have Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid Dread. Because Metroid has had such a resurgence, I think there is one character that is perfect for it, and that's the Emmy. Okay, the Emmy is the villain, one of the villains of Metroid Dread, that constantly chases you around and follows you around. And considering the fact that, Metroid has seen a resurgence, and, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out very soon, and also Metroid Dread was the best-selling Metroid game. Again, it's 3 to 4 characters, unless they cut Dark Samus as a playable character, and unless they cut Zero Suit Samus. Like, Metroid only has 4 characters. Metroid is not the most popular series, but hey, you can cut Zero Suit Samus and add an Emmy. Again, Emmy would be pretty unique if they did add Emmy to Smash Bros. And also it would represent the new Metroid games like Metroid Dread and Metroid Prime 4. And you can have Metroid, and you can also have Dark Samus that represent the Metroid Prime series as well. And give either keep Dark Samus an Echo, or give Dark Samus an actual moveset. Considering that Dark Samus has a lot of moveset potential as well. I get it, Dark Samus. They kind of did worsen the character, basically because they have time constraints. So if they really wanted to, they could flesh out Dark Samus' moveset even more and dethrone Dark Samus from Samus herself. But I think those 4 characters, I think it's a much more better Smash 6 roster than the actual Metroid reps itself. Okay. Next character is Banana Waddle Dee. Banana Waddle Dee, first of all, is a fan favorite character. Okay. And also Kirby, kind of like Zelda and Sonic, are overdue for a new character. I think I would rather prefer something like Vector Elfris or Magawar, or, especially Galactonite as the Echo to Meta Knight. Banana Waddle Dee is kind of like the 4th Kirby character. He's either a player 2, or he's one of the main characters you can play as in Kirby. Okay. So I think, of course, my most wanted characters, but again, first is what people actually want. The first is what's most likely, as well. And also, the next one, I think, is a new Mario character. We always get a new Mario character every time, but there's so many characters to pick from. Nintendo can finally add Toad in Smash Bros. If they really wanted to. Toad, of course, is a character I think people have been dying for. I think the one people want is Captain Toad, okay? Because it represents a certain, it's much more better than having a generic Toad. Or, Nintendo can finally add Waluigi into Smash Bros. Okay, I was coughing now. I think I'm starting to feel better. But I think the most likely character Nintendo's going to add is none of the most requested characters. It's Pauline. And that's because over the past couple of years, Nintendo has kind of been pushing Pauline. Kind of like during the 2010s, they pushed Rosalina. But I think we're going to probably get 2 Mario characters, which means Waluigi still has a chance to be added as a playable character. Also, there's also a chance that Paper Mario and Xeno might get in, considering the fact that Powers the Door and Mario RPG got remakes very, very, recently. And also, you can get a Mario Wonder rep, but again, most of the characters that could represent Mario Wonder are already in the game. Maybe, you have all of the main characters of Mario Wonders. Maybe you could add an Abbott as a playable character. But I think the most likely character could probably be Pauline, as Nintendo has been pushing Pauline. Or finally give Waluigi fans who have been dreaming for a chance to play as Waluigi in Smash Bros. I think that is a pretty likely thing to occur. But also don't discount the possibility of Xeno being in Smash Bros. Because of the whole Mario RPG remake. We don't know how Nintendo will take from the success of Mario RPG remake, if Xeno will be in more games or not, as well. But yeah, the next character is Oti from Pikmin 4. Yes, Pikmin 4 is a very recent game, but it's enough time between then and the next Smash Bros. Game they could add Oti. Again, Pikmin only has one character and hasn't had a new character since Brawl. That's also because there hasn't been a lot of character selection. Okay, we're adding Oti and like the cat, and a customizable captain they can swap from each game as well. Oti will have its own moveset and it can also use Pikmin as well. I think that whole idea will be pretty interesting and pretty unique as well. Oti can, do the rush and stuff and do all of his abilities from Pikmin 4. I think Oti is pretty likely to be in the next Smash Bros. Game. I wouldn't be too surprised if he is in the next Smash Bros. Game. And people are like, but Oti's too cute. He's too precious. I don't think Nintendo. Oti really fights little like monsters. So Oti, his whole purpose is to be a guard dog and to fight other foes. And also he'll be assisted with the captain. It'll kind of be like the Duck Hunt again. And it'll be a very unique character. It'll be like the Duck Hunt. It's technically 3 characters in one. Okay, you have the dog and the duck and the NES apper. But this time you have the Pikmin, you have Oti himself, and the captain. And it'll just be a very unique character because you have the captain ordering around Oti and the Pikmin as well. And Oti can get Pikmin. Oti and the captain can get new Pikmin, obviously. And Oti can carry up to 10 Pikmin on his back. And the Pikmin do less damage than our mouse Pikmin to balance him out, so he isn't too overpowered like in the actual Pikmin 4 games. But yeah, I think Oti is pretty likely. The next most likely character, I think, is the Xenoblade 3 protagonist, or Elmo from Xenoblade X, as the re-releasing Xenoblade X on the Switch 2. Well, not on the Switch 2, on the Switch. And as much as I hate the idea of having a cat go and Smash Bros., we're talking about the Xenoblade protagonist here. Xenoblade is a popular series, and yes. And I think the last character I think we're going to talk about today in this most likely category is the new Fire Emblem protagonist from the new Fire Emblem game. Revenue, I think that will probably be a DLC character, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if we get a new Fire Emblem character as a DLC. The problem is, unlike with Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U, we had a new Fire Emblem game, Smash Bros. For, but usually that's what they do every single time. Corn to promote Fire Emblem Fates, and, also, Free Houses being promoted for, Byleth. But I'm talking about base roster, I think a new Pokemon is almost a shoo-in at this point. We don't know who to add. I really hope they cut Jigglypuff, honestly. Okay, the whole Jigglypuff must be in the game because he's part of the original characters. It's just a stupid idea. Okay, considering the fact that we have considering how much Pokemon has evolved, like, there are people who really want to keep Jigglypuff because Jigglypuff's part of the original 12. Like, of course, keep Pikachu because it's Pikachu, but why keep Jigglypuff? Okay, Jigglypuff has almost been cut twice from Smash Bros. Okay, but Sakura just adds Jigglypuff in, and it's just how it is. But I think what we should do is keep Pikachu, Pokemon Trainer, and Mewtwo and Lucario, and unfortunately cut Incineroar and Pichu, unfortunately for both of fans of both, and add in a new Gen 9 Pokemon. I don't know what the most popular Gen 9 Pokemon is, but there are tons of options you can add in. I like the idea of adding another legendary into the game. So I think if they really want, they can add Miraidon or Koraidon. But the problem is, Nintendo might add one, and people who like the other one might be upset that it's not in. So maybe add in like Meowscarada or Skeletords as playable characters instead. Even though adding starters is kind of overused at this point, because you have the 3 stars with the Pokemon trainer, and then you have Greninja, and then you have a Incineroar, and now you can have Skeletords. Okay, Skeletords can replace Incineroar. I think that'll be a perfect replacement for Incineroar. Skeletords will be a perfect replacement. Meowscarada is just too risky, but Skeletords is a fan favorite Pokemon. I think it's the most popular of the 3 Paldea starters. But we want to add in but there's also possibility they might add in Iron Bundle as a joke character for all we know. Or if they really want to, they can add in Screamtail so you can say, oh, we actually have Jigglypuff in Smash Bros. But now it's Screamtail, not Jigglypuff. Okay, that'll probably piss off some fans. Or heck, you can just keep it Jigglypuff and just add Screamtail. So you can have Echo of Jigglypuff for some reason. I don't know why I thought of that idea, but Screamtail does exist. Or you can just add Iron Bundle as a playable character. I just think that whole idea of Iron Bundle probably being a playable character because it would be a funny joke character. It would just be a fun no one will ever think, oh yeah, let's add Delibird to Smash Bros. Oh, let's add the future Delibird to Smash Bros. Because it'll be funny. Another character they could add is Goldango because Goldango's cool as well, But other than that, though, I think a Gen 9 Pokemon, because Gen 10 will be too early. And people are like, well, what about Pokemon Legends 8? You already have your Kalos representation. It's Greninja, okay? If they really want, they can or if they add Mega Greninja and Legend ZA, you can give Mega Greninja to Greninja. But I think Greninja is obviously saying Greninja is one of the most popular Pokemon. And it represents rare generations. Lucario is one of the most popular Pokemon. Mewtwo is one of the most recognizable Pokemon. Pokemon Trainer is just an iconic character. It represents the whole battling mechanic. And of course, Pikachu is a mascot. I think the weakest things in Pokemon, the Pokemon roster right now is Incineroar and Jigglypuff. And of course, Pichu. Yeah, I actually honestly forgot Pichu exists. I think Pichu would be cut before Jigglypuff because who the hell wants to play as Pichu? Pichu sucks. And also you have Incineroar, which again, Incineroar is very popular in competitive play because of how overwhelming it is in doubles and in VGC because of Intimidate. But I think adding a Gen 9 Pokemon makes a lot of sense if Gen 10 is... I think if Smash 6 releases, or you could possibly see a Generation 10 Pokemon, which is a huge possibility if Generation 10 comes before. I think one last practice we have to talk about is Animal Crossing. Yes. I was going to say Pokemon's last time, but we also have Animal Crossing. Okay. And that's the problem. With third-party characters, we have so many Nintendo characters we can add that I think we're going to have a few third-party characters, but I think they're going to save the third-party characters for DLC, honestly. I think we get 2 or 3 new third-party characters. I think we get new Sonic characters. And I think I could get a new third-party character from a new franchise, from a newer game. Maybe an indie character. Third-party characters I cannot predict, so for those who know, Shantae is likely. First of all, we don't know who Nintendo will contact because third-party characters are kind of like a deal. It's like making a deal, okay, with the other company, okay, to put a character in Smash Bros, okay, and with third-party characters, I think Sonic is gonna be in the next Smash Bros game because Sega is pretty friendly to Nintendo, and I think that, it's just the problem with third-party characters is why we haven't met them besides Sonic, is because they're pretty iffy. Okay, I think Sonic will be in, but I don't know about the others. But I think Animal Crossing, Tom Nook. That's an obvious choice. I think Tom Nook is one of the most likely characters. And I think we're done. We can also KK Sly could be also added, but KK Sly is a singer. I just like to see Tom Nook just because of how ridiculous it would be. And people say, but Tom Nook's a part of our Final Smash. That didn't stop Chrom from being in. Because guess what? And Robin's Final Smash, Chrom is still a part of the Final Smash. So, screw that. Add Tom Nook in Smash Bros. Just to see how funny it is. Also, Tom Nook is basically the Mr. Krabs of Animal Crossing. I think a lot of people just want to beat up Tom Nook, be kind of like the Duck Hunt Dog, for all the torment Tom Nook has put us through. I know Resetti also exists and is, even more hated, but I think a lot of people do hate Tom Nook because of how greedy he is. I know Tom Nook has mellowed out over the past couple of years, past couple of games, but everybody will never forget what Tom Nook did to us. So yeah, that's about this video here. Goodbye.